We have to rethink what the place of art is. Do we want art is art a tool to make capitalism more beautiful, which it tends to be all too often? So what can the role of art be, or how does art change the moment that it also takes a political position? For me, that's the core. If you ask, can art be a means of change, then for me the answer is that really depends on which side art is on. And if you believe in art as something that is also shaped and can shape our politics, it also means we have to take a political stance. Art is not neutral. Art has never been neutral, and I think that for every student of art, for everyone who engages in the field of art, we should always ask the question, what is our aesthetic approach and what is our political approach, and how does these two influence one another? So I think the very shape of our society and the human relations that exist within it, this is the real artwork. And the proof of a good artwork for me is if it can contribute to that process, to bring a new social imaginary into being. Welcome friends on behalf of the entire team of the 5th New World Summit in Rojava. So we've organized the first New World Summit in Berlin in 2012, then in Leiden in the Netherlands, same year, in Kochi in India in 2013, in Brussels, in the Royal Flemish Theatre in 2014, and just now this year 2015 in Rojava, which is the autonomous Kurdish region in the northern part of Syria. And in the whole of these summits we've represented about 35 stateless and blacklisted organizations that sent representatives to speak about their struggle. So, New World Summit is an artistic and political organization I founded in 2012. It exists of many different members from the field of art, architecture, design, diplomacy, philosophy. And we together develop what we call alternative parliaments, temporary parliaments in which we invite stateless and blacklisted political organizations. So groups that are denied the right to a state, denied the right to political self-determination through many different means. And we focus very much on the role that the war on terror has played in defining people and organizations as terrorists, and thus placing them outside the political order and in a way outside of democracy. If you're considered a terrorist, then your passport is taken away, your bank accounts are frozen, there's a travel ban imposed, so you are literally declared stateless.
When the state is used by a social class or a central nation to discriminate against citizens and against communities, it distances power from the real concept of democracy.
Policies of the war on terror are always argued through democracy. The idea is we need to protect democracy from its enemies, and thus difficult times ask for difficult measures, or desperate times ask for desperate measures. And the problem of that logic is, of course, that it runs exactly counter to the ideal of democracy, namely that democracy as an emancipatory ideal is limitless, in the sense that every voice, however conflictuous, should be able to be represented. It's not the same as supporting violence, but the idea that there's an opinion that says that violence is a necessary means should not be banned. It's something different than when you take up arms. So the idea that to protect democracy we have to get rid of those voices, often subversive voices or considered subversive voices, to protect it is actually what destroys it. It's democracy acting against its very own ideals. So we have explored as an artist-run group how the imaginary of art can play a role in developing experimental and emancipatory forms of democracy that do not take these limitations as a departing point. They try to create a space where whatever political position is being represented can meet. So a moment of egalitarianism can manifest.